What is up, everybody? Andrew here with the Medellin Buzz. And today we are going to talk about why people are still flocking to Colombia, to Medellin in particular, and to live either full-time or part-time. Why do I say flocking? It's because I own the Medellin Masterclass together with my business partner, and we've seen more and more people sign up for our masterclass. People that have the means to live in the United States, probably have a house down there or maybe a couple houses, have businesses, have remote jobs, and or are retired or semi-retired or early retirees. People that can afford to live in the United States, yet they're choosing to come down here to either buy a property, to live in, or rent out, either part-time, maybe 3 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year, or just full-time. So there are various reasons why the people that are signing up for the masterclass are doing this. And on top of that, I also moderate a bunch of the expat and traveler groups on Facebook. And every single day, there are new people coming to Medellin. A lot of the times they're just traveling, but those travelers slowly start to convert into what we call expats or immigrants, whatever word you want to use. But it's crazy to me how, despite all of the bad news, because we've all seen the bad news. If you guys watch my channel, statistically, you guys watch the other channels that report on the bad news. Yet people are still coming here. It's crazy how people are still coming down here every single day. It's not even monthly, it's daily. For example, my cousin came down for El Carnaval de Barranquilla. We all went to the Carnival last week, and she said she was coming from the U.S., so she saw the line of Americans coming out here. She said it was like a 2-hour wait for Americans to get through customs to get into Medellin. So it's not just a monthly occurrence or just a once-off thing. This has been happening for the last few years since the pandemic, since after the pandemic when everything opened up. So it's very interesting how this is happening. So I'm going to go over my opinions why people are coming down, and I base these opinions on the fact that I actually have a business that helps people relocate to Medellin, called the Medellin Masterclass. If you're ready to relocate, make sure to check out MedellinMasterclass.com. Book a call with me and my business partner. We can go through what the masterclass entails, but it's crazy how many people are coming down, and it's exciting. I think it's good for the city. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What's up, Jules? How's it going? Bingo Bongo, what's good? How you doing? Jonathan, how you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Nice to see a few folks tuning in today. Yeah, we'll get more and more people tuning in today as we progress with this live episode. This is live episode number 30 of the Medellin Buzz podcast, I think, live podcast, video podcast. I also put them up on all podcast platforms as well, including Spotify. So if you do just want to listen, or if you're listening, you can also tune in and watch the live video or the recorded video version of this on YouTube, on Medellin Buzz YouTube channel. It's really easy to find. So let's talk about that. Some of the statistics. Well, first of all, let's talk about some of the bad stuff that's happened in Colombia, not in Colombia, but I guess in Medellin, because this is where I'm based out of, and this is where people are coming to. So in Medellin, poverty rate across the valley is still at about 30%. That means that 3 out of 10 people that you see on the street that are Colombian are probably living under the minimum wage. And what is minimum wage? Minimum wage is about $280, I believe. Let me check. Minimum wage in Colombia is 1,300,000. So at today's exchange rate, USD to COP, that is $331. Sorry, I was off. It's $331. So 3 out of the 10 people that you see on the street that are Colombian are living below $330 per month on average, because the poverty rate is at 30%. And that's not even including, for example, the migrants that are coming down here, like Venezuelans that are coming down here fleeing their country and their situation. that probably didn't even make the census or these surveys that the government is taking, because they're taking them probably at homes or whatever, or with data that's given to them by companies, right? That are that gather this information, right? So I'm sure there's probably even more poor people. I would venture to say that there are more than 30%. That the poverty rate is higher than 30%, based on the fact that not everybody gets counted, right? So that's the situation when it comes to poverty level. Yet, despite the poverty levels, people are still coming down here to live. Why is that? We'll talk about that. So that's one of the problems that Medellin has, is this pretty big poverty level, and extreme poverty means that you're basically homeless. That's pretty high here as well. So there are there are a lot of problems when it comes to poverty rate, when it comes to education as well, what we call desertion. The new mayor actually made it a point, and has made it a point. One of his agenda items during his term is to increase attendance in school, because there was a high desertion rate in school-age kids. On top of that, malnutrition in Medellin, in the valley, is a problem as well. There are still kids and families and adults and elderly that don't have the means to feed themselves and are malnourished. So, the valley has problems, yet we still see people flocking over here, and there are a few reasons for that, which I'll go over. I still want to go over some of the downsides or some of the problems that the valley has before I get into the reasons why I think people are coming down here to live, right? To either live here part-time or full-time. What's up? Bingo Bongo says, questions. Since I began watching videos on Colombia, content to find a Colombian wife has started popping up a lot. Is that a scam, and or does it contribute to the violence problem? I don't understand how that would contribute to the violence problem. It's probably because you're part of the demographic. You're probably a middle-aged man from the United States, and usually middle-aged men that are coming down to Medellin from the United States are here because they're looking for a wife, or they're looking for a long-term partner. They're looking for love, which is one of the problems that I'm going to go through. Why I believe a lot of people are still coming down here, despite the negatives that we see in the media and social media, on the news, etc., about Colombia. Yet people are still coming down here, and predominantly males and predominantly middle-aged men, and that's basically our demographic for the Medellin Masterclass. We only have 2 women that have joined the Medellin Masterclass. One who is the wife of somebody that's coming down here, so they're a couple, and then another one is just a solo female traveler with her daughter. But the rest are all middle-aged men that maybe their underlying reason is not women, obviously, but it's one of the reasons, and we'll get to that, what I mean by that, and what that looks like here in a minute. But yeah, I don't know how it would contribute to the violence problem, though. I don't understand that part of your question. Yeah, if you're watching YouTube videos on how to find a Colombian wife, what does that have to do with violence, or it being a scam? Unless if it's some sort of like dating thing, like where they set you up with someone. I do know a lady that has that, and she has her own channel, and I know that that's not a scam, but I've never used them. I don't know anybody. I don't know one person that has used them. I have another friend, actually. I have a friend that that has a dating agency, or I guess, yeah, it's an agency where he hooks people up, but they're super professional. I don't know much about it. I've been meaning to interview him on here. One of these days, I'll interview him about him and his business of this. Him and his wife have this matchmaking business. It's a matchmaking business, not a dating service or a dating app. It's a matchmaking service, which I think is a little bit different because it requires you to give a lot of information, and also the women have to give a lot of information for them to make the best choices for you. So I don't know what videos you're watching, though. Johnny, what's up, Johnny? Best channel on YouTube to inform you on the latest trends happening in Colombia. What's up, Andrew? Love the channel. Thank you, Johnny. I hope you're having a great day. Happy hump day. Bingo says, I'm wondering if there are a problem with lonely men traveling to find a wife. but they end up getting taken advantage of. Thanks ahead of time. Oh, so I think, I think the more desperate the man, the more he's going to get taken advantage of. But I don't think many guys are getting taken advantage of. I think by culture, and I'll go over this a little bit more in depth, women expect to be taken care of here. And the Western man, since he is used to the Western woman who basically can carry herself and carry her own weight, basically, and or even more, they see that as, oh, I'm being taken advantage of. But no, that's just, again, I'm going through the stats. 30% poverty rate, and it's probably higher than that. Let's be conservative and say it's 40%. That means 4 out of the 10 women that you meet are going to be living below the poverty level, which is below minimum wage, which is $380 a month. What was it? $330 per month. And that's 4 out of the 10. So what are the others making? They're probably making just over that, maybe $500 a month. So yes, the women expect you to take care of them in these third world countries or these developing nations. It's just a matter of, it's a fact of life in these. That's why people get married. In the United States, people get married now because of a business. It's almost like a business contract. In these countries where there are no tax benefits for couples or anything like that, there are no advantages of getting married. The biggest advantage is survival. And that's why people are getting married. So when a Western guy comes out here with their Western mentality thinking women are going to take advantage of me, they're going to see all women as gold diggers here. And I've seen it, and it happens all the time. But it's just because they don't understand the culture. They're coming in green. And then they either leave with a bitter taste in their mouth, or they just get taken advantage of really badly, where they don't understand the culture where you're supposed to take care of someone, and they overcompensate and take care of too much, like buying cell phones, paying rents. There's one thing to help someone, but then there's but then the other extreme is where you're being taken advantage of, and they're using you with nothing in exchange, like no love, no care, no compassion, no partnership, right? There's that as well. So I don't know. I'm a pretty high value guy. I consider myself high value and of high worth. And and again, I've said this before, I've been here 14 years. I've never had a woman ever ask me for money to pay her rent, to buy her a motorcycle, to buy her a scooter, to buy her kids tuition. I've never had that, but I've heard all of these things from other guys, mainly guys that were older than me, usually 10 years older than me, with younger girls, even younger than I would date, right? I would never date a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old, really. My cutoff is like 24, like my girlfriend's 24. That's like the youngest, because at that point they've already graduated and they probably have a job, etc. They're just, they're more compatible. We're more compatible with each other. So yeah, that's my tangent on that. We'll get into that, but we're going to talk about why people are still flocking to Medellin despite all of the negative news that you see in social media, in the news, on YouTube channels, etc. What's up, Mr. Dutch? How's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Stuggy, good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. Johnny, they call them men LBHs. Losers back home. Makes sense. Well, I don't know if they're losers back home. It's just like I think it's a complex topic, and it's hard to generalize, or I think it's wrong to generalize, because Colombians do it. They did. I remember when Colombians back in I got here in 2010 after being deported from the United States. I got here with my Western mentality. I'd never been I'd never been out of the United States because I couldn't, because I was illegal. And I didn't know much about my own culture, my own country, just what my parents taught me, but they lived in Colombia up until 1985. So a lot of things had changed by 2010. So culturally, I didn't understand it. So I came down here and I watched how people perceived foreigners. And Colombians perceived foreigners back then as dirty backpackers that didn't wear deodorant, that didn't wear socks, that didn't take showers, because those were the people that were coming down here. They were the only ones that were really venturing down here to come down here and visit, and that's what you would see, these backpackers in hostels. So all Colombians, when you'd ask them, so what do you think of gringos? They're like, oh, they stink, they smell, they don't take showers. I'm like, wait a minute, there's almost 500 million people in the United States. You think all of them don't take a shower and wear sandals and flip-flops every day? And they'd be like, no, probably not. So it's like sometimes we shouldn't generalize. Some of the people that are coming down here with good intentions, but they're usually running away from something. And we're going to go over those things that people are running away from that makes Colombia look better than the United States. And number one, I am a huge advocate for the United States being one of the best countries in the world. I mean, there's a reason why people die every year just trying to get into that country, because it is still a superpower. It's one of the greatest countries to go if you are absolutely shit poor and don't have any opportunities. You will find work. You will make money there. You can pay a car note and a rent somewhere. You, even if you have to bust dishes, work at restaurants, work in the movie theaters, whatever. I did that all as a kid, and I was able to pick myself up even just a little bit in the United States. Whereas in our countries, these developing nations, those opportunities for people are lower. But I'm not talking about the local Colombians and what their life is like, because it's completely different than someone that's coming in from the United States that has US dollars backing them, right? So there's a reason why those people are coming down, despite all the negative stuff. Let's say hi to some people. What's up, Glenn? How you doing? Andrew, ¿cómo estás, amigo? Estoy muy bien. Gracias. Hey, Andrew. Beast LFC. Hey, Andrew. And the chat sending positive vibes. Thank you, Beast. Julian says, hey, what's up, Andrew? Julian Hurtado, ¿cómo estás? Phil, buenas tardes, amigos. Paul Ashwell, how you doing, man? When you coming back? Fortran says, greetings from Orlando. Oh, sorry, from Orlando. From Ontario, Canada. You're in Costa Rica. That they have in Costa Rica, they have dating tour packages monthly, mostly out of the United States. Yeah, I agree with that. You never. Oh well, Bingo Bongo says, or Bingo Bongo says, I never search for those videos, but YouTube sends them to me. I didn't realize it was a trend until recently. Yeah, YouTube is very smart. They're obviously very smart. They're owned by Google, and their algorithm is very smart. So if you're a 40-something-year-old male watching videos about living in Medellin, you're going to be fed violence and women. Like, those are the two money makers on the platform for streamers or for YouTubers to make money on views. So that's what they're creating. That's most of the content's based around that, and that's what's going to get pushed to you because there's just more of it. And YouTube understands that if it pushes it to you, the likelihood of you clicking on it and watching it is very high, as opposed to someone that says, hey, I'm a gringo and I just learned how to cook a bandeja paisa. No one's really going to watch that. No one's going to care. But then you see this guy coming in, hey, this girl led me to her hood in Medellin. She's Venezuelan and she's dirt poor, and this is how they live, and this is the chicken that's walking across their kitchen, dirt floor kitchen. Like, that's going to get way more views than the person that, like my channel. My channel gets, my videos get anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 views on them, because it's not about the sensational stories like women and crime. So that's just the fact of the matter of the algorithm. Paul Ashwell says, I'm coming in March for a short trip. Nice. Hopefully we could catch up, have some coffee, and do some chess. Christopher Garcia thought it was on Wednesday and Saturday. What day is it for you, my friend? Christopher, what side of the planet are you on that it's not Wednesday today? I think everywhere in the planet, maybe not China. Wait, what time? I'm going to check right now. What day is it in China? China, I don't know. Or time in China, I guess. Oh, it's already tomorrow for them. So if you're in China, I'm sorry, this is Thursday for you. Wait, Christopher Garcia, it's Tuesday? Where are you? It's Wednesday for us. On this side of the world, it's Wednesday from Canada all the way down to Chile. It is Wednesday for us. It is Wednesday. It's 6:26 p.m. It's February 21st, 2024. I am Andrew Macia, and this is the Medellin Buzz. Today we're talking about why people are still coming down to Colombia despite the negative news, despite the fact that poverty rate is at over 30%, not counting the people that aren't included in that census, like illegal immigrants out here or migrants from Venezuela that just didn't make that census. Poverty rate's probably higher than that. Extreme poverty rate is also high. Crime rate went up last year. Homicide rate went down last year, believe it or not. Only 64 per 100,000, which is lower than the year before and the previous year. So it's been going down, but crime rate did go up. We see that foreigners are basically being targeted by gangs on dating apps to rob them. And these green people that are coming down here that don't know anything about the culture and that are just looking for women and easy pickups are getting taken advantage of to the point where they could get hurt and or passed away. It's Thursday in Australia. God bless 69 way better. What's good? Christopher, you're in Medellin and it's Tuesday for you? I'm in Medellin and it's Wednesday for me. Do you know the days of the week? What's up? I'm from Montreal. What's up, Montreal? Coming to Colombia Sunday on the 29th. Nice. You're coming on Sunday. But guys, by the way, we have we're gonna do the in-person meeting. We do one every month. We're gonna do it this month. It's gonna be on the 28th. Next Wednesday, we're gonna meet in person. So if you want to meet in person with me and the rest of the people that are down here in Medellin that watch the channel to network, to talk shop, to talk about living here, to talk about buying properties here, to meet other expats and other travelers, make sure to go to the Medellin Dream Academy. Medellin Dream Academy, that's where I put all of the information. It's not on Facebook. The link is in the description below to the Medellin Dream Academy. I'll show you here what I mean. Medellin Dream Academy. I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So the Medellin Dream Academy is the community where we all are on. The link is in the description below. It's free for you to join and doesn't cost anything. But it's a free community where we all get together and we ask questions. For example, I pin my post whenever I'm going to go live that day. That way people know that I'm going to go live and at what time. But more importantly, there's a calendar up here, and this is where I'm going to put next week on the 28th, we're going to have our in-person event where you can meet me and the rest of the community. And it's going to be at a very awesome rooftop. One of my friends owns a hotel over here, and he has a rooftop with a pool. Well, obviously, we're not going to go in the pool, but it's going to be in the evening. But we'll have cocktails up there, drinks. You could even order food up there if you want. And it's a beautiful rooftop. I'm not going to disclose the location just yet. I'm going to disclose it on Saturday, but it's going to be on the 28th next week. So make sure to join the Medellin Dream Academy. The link is in the description below. And yeah, we'll meet. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun. Okay, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, coming down to Medellin. A lot of people are coming down to Medellin for a bunch of different reasons. And one of the reasons is the lack of culture in the United States. So I'm talking predominantly about the United States because in 2020, I was looking at the stats from the tourism board in Medellin, from the government's office in Medellin on their website. They said that 60% of the people that came down to Medellin were from the United States. So imagine 1.4 million people came down here. 64% of those people were from the United States, were American. So, and on top of that, my Medellin Masterclass, the people that have joined the Medellin Masterclass are predominantly from the United States as well. We have a couple people that lived or that are from other countries, but for the most part, everyone is from the United States. Christopher, you missed it. Man, you got to stop partying now. You're in Medellin. You got to slow down. Kick it down a notch. I'm interested to learn more about the University of Antioquia in Medellin, but there isn't much information online or on YouTube. Also, where's the best resource for Colombian economic development trends? I think the best resource for that is called here. This is for Colombia as a whole. There's a website called financecolombia.com. That one's pretty good. And if you speak Spanish, there's a newspaper. It's a print edition, and they have an online edition. It's called Portafolio. The word for portfolio, but in Spanish, Portafolio. That follows trends in the stock market and economics in Colombia. It's better, obviously, than anything in English that you'll find, probably. But you have to speak Spanish. It's all in Spanish. It's called portafolio.co. That's the best one. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I've seen a lot of people come down to Medellin and wanting to live in Medellin after multiple visits. People don't just decide to come live in Medellin on a whim, or even before coming to visit it, or even after just one visit. Most of the people that join the Medellin Masterclass, or most of my friends that are expats that I've known for years, they had visited the Colombia and Medellin many times and had a dream to come down here and had to make some things happen in their own country in order to make that dream come true of living in Medellin part-time or full-time. And one of the reasons why people are moving down here is the lack of culture in the United States. Everyone kind of tells me the same thing, that in the United States, there's this mishmash of people, and people are scared to talk to each other and offend each other. Everyone's so easily offended by stupid shit out there that the United States has lost kind of what we used to call its culture. I haven't been back to the United States in 14 years. I was deported in 2010, so I haven't been back there. So I don't know. I only know what it was back then. And back then it was awesome. I used to love living in Huntington Beach. Surf City, the surf culture, going bar hopping, playing kickball on a Tuesday night, and then doing flip cup at the local bar, and meeting new people every single day. Every new kickball session, we would meet new people. Playing softball leagues, playing in the adult basketball league, playing surfing. So I loved that culture. I hope that culture still exists. But a lot of people are telling me that the United States is losing their culture because of these things that are dividing them, whether it's people being offended too quickly, whether it's because politics are getting crazy and dividing people even more than before. So people aren't getting together. People aren't. It's not easy to meet people. It's not easy to make friends. If you're over 30, making new friends is nearly impossible for people. So those people that have come down here to visit, and they've come here multiple times, they realize that life in that aspect is way better here in Colombia, even though people are poorer and crime rates a little higher than most cities in the United States, or most safe cities in the United States. Yet they would rather live down here, even if it's part-time, because they can live that part of their life out, which involves making friends, being social, not having to walk on eggshells around people because someone's going to get offended about something, not being able to have a social interaction without politics being brought up or religion being brought up. And to me, that's sad, because I do love the United States. I never wanted to leave. I was kicked out. If I hadn't been kicked out, I'd probably still live there. I wouldn't live here. I'd probably be a multimillionaire over there. Who knows? Who knows what my life would have been like? But the fact of the matter is that the people that I've helped come down here to live here, whether it's part-time, full-time, buy an apartment, buy a couple of apartments, put one up on Airbnb or whatever the case is, those people have expressed to me that part of the culture of the United States has been lost and is losing to all of these trends that are happening in the United States that are negative, that have a negative impact on the culture there. Henceforth, if you are a middle-aged person that is single, your social life is basically done at that time, because you either have a family and are married and are priced out of wherever it is that you grew up, and now having to move to a different city to raise your family that is cheaper, and or you're just single, and single life over there is a lot more difficult than it is here in Colombia. So that's what, and tell me in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on a replay, tell me in the comments, what do you think? Is that a valid point. Is that true? I'm only going by what people are telling me that are moving down here that I'm helping. We've helped over 22 people relocate since November, and they all have very similar stories or similar opinions about the culture. There are other things involved as well, but the culture that is being lost in the United States that they can gain here in Colombia is one of the main reasons why they want to spend more time in Colombia than in the United States. Does that make sense? Yeah, Christopher. Oh, you had a toothache. Glenn says, yes, sir, Andrew, having lived in 5 countries, America has become boring. I'm loving Laureles. The weather is also wonderful. Okay. Mr. Dutch says the U.S. culture has changed a lot over the years. Familia Sanchez says Medellin is dope. Colombia is as a whole is beautiful. Christopher Garcia, thank you. Exactly correct. Julian Hurtado, it's valid here. It's just too boring. Boring. I'm hearing that word. That's the second time I hear that. Let's go into that here in a second. Bingo says, Andrew, everything you said about the U.S. is absolutely true. Culturally, we are deteriorating very quickly. Julian Hurtado, being single here, working a lot, and nothing to do. Ooh, okay. Everything is expensive. Phil says, when I had the opportunity to chat with Andrew about his masterclass, it's a wonderful setup, and he's really into helping people out. Thank you, Phil. It was awesome talking to you. Johnny says, Andrew, how long can one stay in Colombia for? Our visa's easy to extend. Can a U.S. citizen buy a condo here? Jules, $5 dodo. Thank you so much, Jules. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're having a great day. Gio says, hello, everyone. Love the channel. Thank you, Gio. So let me answer Johnny's question. On a tourist stamp from the United States, you could stay up to 180 days. Like you can extend. So you get 90 days on the tourist stamp typically, and then you can extend it another 90 days, usually with no problem. And then you have to get the fuck out or get a visa. Hey, Drone Man Miami, thank you so much for the $4.99. Hope you're having a great day. Let's create a group for the guys meet up for a drink or two during La Feria de las Flores this year at the local bar. Let's go. Let's do that. Drone Man, we could do that at the Medellin Dream Academy. Go to the link in the description below if you haven't joined already. We can create little subgroups in there when we can do events. Our next meetup, live meetup, is going to be next Wednesday. So if you're here in Medellin, make sure to join the Medellin Dream Academy so that you know where the location is going to be and what time it's going to be. I'm not going to announce it anywhere else other than there, the Medellin Dream Academy. You're heading there now? Nice. Hey, thank you so much, Jules, for the gifted membership. Robert Sawa got the gifted membership. I appreciate it. Okay, so again, Medellin and Colombia as a whole has a lot of problems, mainly involving poverty, crime, corruption. And it's the same problems that the United States have. The United States still has a poverty problem, poverty on a different level, meaning that the middle class is diminishing and that and there's still crime in the United States. And of course, there's corruption. I think in the United States, the corruption is so well organized that some people think that they have freedom, but they don't. You're not really free. There's varying levels of injustices in the United States. They're just better at covering them up. The government is better at owning what is syndicated to you and what's broadcasted to you via news, via the internet, via TV, etc. In Colombia, they're less good at it, and Colombians have just accepted that we just get shafted by the government every year. And that's just a fact of life in these countries, and Colombia is not the only one. But despite those problems, people are still coming down here to live full time. Why is that? One of the reasons, like I just said, is that in the United States, you guys are losing your culture, whether it's because of these big divides that are happening politically, whether it's people taking sides politically, whether it's people not agreeing on wokeism, whatever the hell that means, whether it's people not agreeing on gender identifications, whatever the hell that means. In Colombia, we don't have that issue. That's not even, we have bigger issues to tackle, like malnourishment of children dying in our valley. So, we don't have that. Those are first world problems. Here, we still have very rudimentary problems, like Getting kids to go to school, that's a big problem. Getting kids nourished, that's a big problem. Crime rate, that's a big problem. Housing, illegal houses on the side of the mountain, people just putting up shacks in the poor neighborhoods or in the poor hillsides, that's a problem as well. I read the news almost every day here in Colombia in Spanish, and I watch the news because I have this channel. I never used to do that. I kind of lived in my own bubble, just trying to develop my business and not really being abreast to the problems of the country for many years until I built my business, and then I started a nonprofit organization, and that's when I started to get informed on the major problems in Colombia because I wanted to help out. And we have been helping out, mainly on the education front and nutrition side. But now that I have this channel, I also want to inform the people that maybe aren't living here or that have visited many times and want to live here and want to make that decision or have that decision to make, whether they should or shouldn't. And I'd like to inform you guys on the good and the bad, because there are two, just like any other country. And unfortunately, the stuff that's coming out in English, the news in English, the YouTube channels in English, a lot of the stuff that you see is completely negative. And despite that, we still see people flocking to Colombia to not just visit, because we had 1.4 million visitors last year. This year, it's probably going to be more than 1.4 million. But not just as visitors, but also as people wanting to immigrate and live here, either part-time or full-time, as what we call expats or immigrants. Yeah, so, oh, Jeppy, what's up, Jeppy? Colombia Spanish, ¿qué más? ¿Cómo estás? Abrazos, saludos, parcero. ¿Cómo es el acento, cómo es el acceso al Medellin Dream? Solamente, I gotta give you access. So after this, I'll give everyone access that has joined. I mean, I could do it right now, actually. Yeah, so let me give, yeah, there's one membership pending. Approved. Johnny Rios. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? Johnny Rios is the creator of Gringo Paisa. I'm a moderator there. Very great community as well. Phil, I look forward to doing some volunteering when I come to Medellin in October. Yeah, just hit me up through the Medellin Dream Academy. You could send me a direct message there. They have like a messenger system, just like Facebook or whatever. And you can send me a direct message when you're coming down here and saying, hey, I want to volunteer. I'll add you to our WhatsApp group where we do English classes on Saturday so that you can volunteer as well. Familia Sanchez says, my next property will be in Colombia, most likely Medellin. What other city is growing in popularity over in Colombia? I don't know popularity-wise. I think Cali is, but Cali still has a lot of development to go through. I think it's still a little behind. I think places like Pereira, Manizales, yeah, like the coffee access, those cities are great because they're safer, there's less people. But again, Familia Sanchez, like I tell all of our students at the Medellin Masterclass that want to come down here and buy a property, I tell them, look, your major investment in Medellin is lifestyle. It's not that you're going to get rich on these properties. Yeah, it's good for generational wealth in a sense, because in 50 years, that property will probably be well worth more than what you bought it for, obviously. But it's not something that you're going to be able to turn over into dollars in the short term real quickly. Unless if you're really good at managing Airbnbs. I am very good at managing my Airbnbs, and I make a yearly yield of about 15 to 20% on my properties because I was able to get them at good deals, refurnish or reconstruct them basically, and make them look absolutely stunning. And I manage them and I interact with every single guest that comes in. I check everyone in. I ask them why they're coming down. If they tell me that they're coming down to study English, I create a PDF with a map and an Excel spreadsheet of all of the language exchanges in the area in Manila and El Poblado with an interactive map. I have my assistant do this for me. If you're coming down here and you say, we had a person that was coming down here on their honeymoon, we go all the best restaurants to go to for couples with panoramic views, the best romantic date spots or things to do. So that's the kind of host I am. I'm a super host. I'm a nerd, bro. Like, so that, because I want to make that 20% yield on my investment. I bought my first one in 2018 I've basically already paid it off. That investment almost paid that first one already off in the last like 4 years, because I do this and I keep a very high level. So if you're not ready to do that, then the major investment in Medellin is lifestyle. It's because you want to come down here and live a peaceful, amazing, social life that you won't have in the United States. That's why people are coming down here. So as I'm going through this list of reasons why people are coming down here and preferring to live here over the United States, even though they have the means to live in the United States. Some of the people that have joined the Medellin Masterclass are very, very wealthy, and they have apartments and houses in different parts of the United States and even the world, but they've decided that Medellin is going to be their hub, at least temporarily, for the next couple of years. They're going to buy their apartment here. And one of the reasons, like I said, is culture. People are losing their culture in the United States. I don't know about the UK, Australia, and all those other countries, but I know in the United States, that's one of the biggest factors that people are telling me, that the reason why they want to come down here is because they want to experience culture. They want to experience a social life. They want to experience people being nice to each other and not having fights over gender identity, over political stuff, religious stuff, race stuff, wokeism, all this bullshit that, to be honest, I call it bullshit because I don't even know what it is. It's not an issue in Colombia. In Colombia, you just live. And a lot of people here are just working to survive, right? They just want to come up, and even in their poverty, they're social, they're happy, they love their family, they don't go buy a gun and shoot up a school. That's never happened here. I've never heard of it happening in the 200 years of history of Colombia, let alone in the last few years since all of the. Mark my words. If it does happen, it'll be a foreigner that comes down here and does that. Mark my words. It's never happened, but if it does happen, it'll probably be some disgruntled male that got played by a woman. I'll leave it at that. Phil says, absolutely, my dude. Yeah, just message me on there. Christopher Garcia saw a YouTube show about a translate device that looks. Oh yeah, I have one of those, like a cell, but are going to learn Spanish. Yeah, it's called the Time Kettle device. I have one. I did a video on it, a video review. It's one of my videos. It's a very cool thing because you could put one earbud in your ear and then the other earbud in the other person's ear, and you just start talking, and in your ear it's translating in your language simultaneously, and in their ear it's translating in Spanish with the Colombian accent, because you could set it to a Colombian accent in their ear, which is pretty amazing. So no more of this like showing your screen and passing the phone back and forth. You can literally have a conversation with simultaneous translation in your ear. I thought that device was really cool. If I were to travel somewhere where my language skill wasn't very high, I was just a beginner, I would definitely use that. And I highly recommend it. It's way better than just using Google Translate. Phil says, look into Pereira. That city seems to be a second Medellin. Yeah, it still has a long ways to go. It's only 1 million people, even in the metropolitan area of Pereira, whereas Medellin is like 4.5 million in the metropolitan area and the surrounding area. ITN, what's up? Is El Poblado the best place to buy a mansion? It depends. I think a lot of people prefer El Retiro now, like real rich people. I'm not talking about like nouveau riche. I'm talking about people that already have the penthouse in Medellin, that maybe have a finca, like a secondary, like summer home or winter home in Santa Elena or Santa Fe de Antioquia. Those people that have a lot of money, they're now buying what did I just say? El Retiro. In El Retiro, that's like where all the rich Colombians are buying their third, fourth, fifth houses. Familia Sanchez, how much does property value go up every year in Medellin? It's roughly between 8 to 10% in appreciation every year. It's basically in line with inflation. Inflation was at like 9.98% last year, and appreciation was at about 10%. So it's very in line with inflation. Johnny says, I know a YouTuber that's been waiting 5 years to go back. He says, is always a really bad time. I think it's all in his head. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think anybody can come down here just to visit. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to come down here and live full time. If you don't, and the main barrier is money. A lot of people can barely live in the United States, let alone come to a country like Colombia. And if you have a physical job in the United States and you don't know how to get a job online, then that's going to hold you back big time. If you can't have a consistent $2,000 per month online, then it's going to be hard to live here because, I mean, you could only make so much, teaching English to Colombians. They're going to pay Colombian wages. They're going to pay Colombian fare. So it's not going to be a lot of money. It's going to be tough. I know. I lived it. I was an English teacher. 1 million people is the largest city in Alberta. Yeah, and how fucking boring is that? Where I live, Canada doesn't have a huge population, so 1 million is fair size to me. Yeah, and imagine how boring is that? Like in Pereira, I can do everything to do in Pereira, and this is just me talking. I love Pereira. I've been there many times. I love visiting there. They have great little restaurants, a great little Zona Rosa where all the restaurants and shops and cafes and discos or clubs at night are. And it's a great time. But I could do it in a weekend. I could do everything there is to do there, including going to the hot springs in Santa Rosa de Cabal in a weekend. And then after that, it's like, okay, now what? You're like twiddling your thumbs. Unless if you really like that slow country life, then that's a great place to be. But for me, I would throw myself out the window. I'd be like, all right, where can I go watch some sports in English? Like, that would be me. But again, my life is different than yours. I didn't run away from the United States looking for something here. I was kicked out of the United States, and I'm looking for the United States in my country, in my city. So my favorite things to do here involve going to the sports bar to watch the Lakers play, going to expat events, meeting up with my friends to go watch a DJ that spins old school hip hop, etc., or Afro beats or stuff like that. I do like, obviously, the Colombian culture, and I've got many Colombian friends, but I love that little piece of America that I have because I'm here for very different reasons than most of the people that are expats that come here or immigrants that come here. Zombie Farts. I love that name. Hello from Alberta. Jeppy, what's up? How can the gringos play some kind of sports in Medellin? Can you throw some light on this on your channel, maybe in an exclusive video? How can you play some sports? Just join the mdecommunity.com. Go to Google and Google mdecommunity.com. There are a ton of WhatsApp channels in that community for different sports. Paddleball, there's a great little group of expats and Colombians that play paddleball. Obviously, basketball. Basketball is pretty big here. Anybody can go and go play pickup basketball, and then through pickup, you're going to meet people that play on adult basketball teams. I used to play competitively. I played competitively for like 10 years. Now my body has given out, but I'm getting back into it. I'm back in the gym. Got weight. I'm doing weight on my knees now. My knees are feeling way better. I just let myself go a little bit the last couple of years while I built another business that I was working on and also this channel. But now I'm back on the grind, baby. What's up, Phil? Phil says, yeah, it can definitely be boring for sure. I'm a country boy, so I'm okay with the slow and steady. Yeah, exactly. The town I live in, 3,000 people. Yes, cow tipping. That's the highlight here. Tell me you guys have tractor racing. That was cool. I've seen that before. I think that was cool. Homestar Runner, what's up? Homestar says, take care, Andrew. All right. Oh, you got to go. But I've been on the monthly call at the Medellin Dream Academy. Always great tuning in. Thank you, Homestar. We're going to do in-person meetings. So if you are here in Medellin, next Wednesday, we're going to meet up at a friend's hotel rooftop, which is amazing, right here in El Poblado. Beautiful views, meet new people, make friends, have a couple drinks, maybe get drunk enough to jump in the pool with your clothes on. I don't know, do whatever you want. Fortran says Zombie. Oh, Zombie. Yeah, he's from Ontario. Zombie's from Alberta. Familia Sanchez says I'm gonna put a Cali Mex food spot out there. Something like Ojos Locos. Nice. I will definitely be going there if you have bean burritos. Juan Carlos, what's up? Jean Carlos Robles. Here in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, it's the same. The population 1 million and the capital and the largest city in NL. Okay, in Netherlands. Phil says lawn tractor racing. Yes, those are cool. Anyway, yeah. So that's one of the main reasons is that the United States and many other countries are losing culture because of these big divides happening within society, whether it's political, religious, wokeism, gender identification, whatever the case is. All of this is causing people to not like to be in the United States. And predominantly, it's middle-aged people, both women and men, are just getting kind of tired of that lack of culture, so that when they get here and they realize that stuff doesn't exist out here, everyone is just a person, and the thing that will divide you, whether you like salsa brava or salsa cubana, that's the biggest divide here. Or no, the biggest divide really is which soccer team you support. And the young kids, they get into gangs supporting their team. They're hooligans from different barrios, have different gangs, and they fight. That's the biggest divide really amongst society here, is what soccer team do you support. The other big divide here is who you support politically, but at the same time, it's not something that you're going to cause violence over, really. Not lately. I know politics can be very volatile in developing nations, but in Colombia, it's been pretty steady. It's been, even though the very far left has won this, and the president is basically a socialist right now, it hasn't divided the country. As a matter of fact, it's brought people together because they realize that that's not really what they want anymore, because it really hasn't helped. So I'm sure that by the next election, they're going to swing the other way to the right. And again, people will still be divided a little bit, but it's nothing like the divides that I'm seeing and that I'm hearing about in the United States. Phil, you got to go. All right, no worries. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. Yeah, so culture is a big reason why people are coming down here, the loss of culture. Bingo bango. Yeah, the biggest gangs here are soccer team related. So, for example, whenever you go to a soccer match, whether it's any part of South America and Mexico, basically anywhere in Latin America where you go see a soccer match that's super crowded, particularly Colombia, Argentina, when you see all the fans from one team on one side and all the fans from the other team, and you'll see that they carry banners. And the banners have the name of their neighborhood. So that's how they represent their neighborhood. So they could be like Nacional supporters from Comuna 13, Nacional supporters from Manrique, and then the name of the little neighborhood or the street of Manrique that gang belongs to. And it's a gang, and they carry machetes, they fight with each other, just like in the United States. It's not much of a turf war, really, for narco trafficking, but mostly just for pride, to represent your neighborhood and your team. So it's really weird and it's really crazy, but you never want to cross those guys, and you can spot them out by a mile away when you see them. You're like, oh yeah, I'm not going to walk on that side of the street when you see them. Yeah, so culture, losing your culture is one of the biggest reasons why people come down here, because they want to gain some sort of culture. Yeah, let me go back to my list over here. For the next points, I think this is interesting. I did some research and I read a lot of Reddit posts, man. Reddit I never knew how bad some people have it in the United States, where a lot of people say, yeah, the United States is way better than most countries in the world. But just because you're great doesn't mean that you don't have things that suck. So one of the major things that I read online, and also that the people that have joined the Medellin Masterclass have expressed, is healthcare. Believe it or not, healthcare. the lack of healthcare in the United States is making middle-aged people come down to countries like Colombia, where healthcare is really good and very cheap compared to the United States, to come down here and live part-time or full-time to get treated, to have access to the healthcare system here. I'll give you an example. My example, I have the global Sura health insurance, which is the top of the line health insurance here in Colombia. I pay $1,300 a year, and it covers pretty much everything. I have the app where I can make an appointment with any type of specialist. For example, I need an MRI on my knee. I've scheduled it, went on the app, scheduled the MRI. It's going to be next month. Yeah, it's not going to be tomorrow, but also it's not like an emergency for me. So I scheduled it for next month, and I don't have to pay anything. It's amazing. And then I guarantee you, because this has happened before, I guarantee you that once I meet the doctor, he's going to be super friendly, or she's going to be super friendly. I'm going to make them laugh. We're going to have a great conversation. They're going to tell me everything that's wrong with my knee or what I need to do to recover. They're going to suggest whatever it is that they need to suggest, whether it's surgery or physical therapy. Hopefully it's just physical therapy. They'll refer me to a physical therapist. They'll make the appointment right there and then for me if they want to, or I can go on my app and do it at my leisure. But at the same time, I'm going to get their WhatsApp number and I'm going to be writing them, which is something that surprised me very much when I got here. And I had my first experiences with a doctor out here where I was like, wait, you're going to give me your WhatsApp number? It's like, what? So one of the biggest experiences with that, or one of the most impactful experiences I had with that, was when my dad came down here to get a prostate surgery. He had to get it, so he got it down here. His urologist was, they were exchanging text messages with the urologist. Him and he's in the United States now, and if he wants to send the urologist a message, he can, and he'll respond. To me, that was, I was blown away by that. How someone of that category of speciality, like a specialist, a urologist, getting an appointment is going to cost you an arm and a leg in the United States, let alone being able to talk to them whenever you want with whatever problem you may have with your condition. I think that was amazing. So that, coupled with the fact that it's very low priced, I have the top of the line, but that's not the only one that exists. You can be paying anywhere from what is it, like $50 a month, or $30, as low as $30 a month to $1,300 for the entire year. So a lot of people have come down here and telling me that one of the main reasons they love being here is because healthcare is so much cheaper. And for even when it comes to like serious medical conditions, you've got that covered. On top of that, a lot of the drugs that you get prescribed in the United States, you could get over the counter here. You could just go to any pharmacy. I can order stuff on Rappi that in the United States is prescription. Here it's not. Because in the United States, you guys, there's a problem with there's my dad, Julio Macia. Yes, it was an amazing experience. See, I'm not talking shit. It's a true story. That's my dad right there. ¿Cómo estás, Dad? My dad's going to be a grandfather. Dang, I can't believe that. That's going to be crazy. I can't wait for this baby to be born. I'm so excited. Okay, so Christopher Garcia says, been here since the 7th. Same between the Metro Suramericana and Estadio. Yes, I know that area very well. I used to live near there. There's an area where there's no light, so if you're walking, it can be dangerous. Yeah, I know that area very well. I would not walk through there. I would not walk through there at night. Familia Sanchez, have you ever thought about investing in Mexico? I have thought about it. If you can help me invest in Medellin, I can help you invest in the beach towns here where I have my properties. Yeah, I go to Sayulita a lot, and I wanted to invest there, but I think it's priced me out now. We're talking about like millionaires from Canada going down there and building their mansions on the hillsides of Sayulita, which are amazing. It's awesome, but I'm priced out, I think. But I'd be interested. Hit me up, Familia Sanchez, on the Medellin Dream Academy, man, for sure. And if you need help with that, man, just join the Medellin Masterclass. What are you waiting for? Fortran says, in Canada, many senior citizens are going to food banks because of the extreme high cost of living. Wow. That's interesting. Charles Joe says, I'm 70% disabled veteran, and that type of care is almost the same quality to health care I receive free in the States. That's amazing. Yeah, but again, you're 70% disabled veteran. Most of the people in the United States are not that, so they are not getting that level of care. You are very lucky because you serve the country, and rightfully so. You should be getting that. You should be getting that level of service, of course. But not everybody does that. So that's one of the things people complain about, particularly younger people, people that are not, senior citizens. The people that I'm helping move down here and relocate down here are around my age, in their 40s, or maybe a little younger, maybe a little older. They don't have pre-existing health conditions or anything like that. They just want to be able to pay less for health insurance, but private health insurance, and have great service. So that's the whole point. Yeah, awesome. $1,400 a year and everything is covered. I know people that pay $900 a month and still has a $7,500 deductible. Yeah, I've heard those stories from the people that we've helped relocate from the United States, where they're paying through the roof monthly, and then their deductibles are super high. I think my deductible the last time for my broken hand was $4. It's like I had to pay for like some scans or something that they did. It's like, okay. Yeah, that was like the most I paid. It was like $4. So it was really interesting. So yeah, culture, healthcare, and then the next reason why people are coming down here, particularly the people that we've helped relocate, is, let me open this because I have 4. I want to make sure that I leave number 1 for number 1. Okay, so yeah, the next reason is, their social life. And we kind of touched on that based on culture, and it is part of culture. But one of the main reasons why people are coming down here is to expand their social circle and have a better social life. I don't know how it is where you are in the United States, but for many of the people that I've helped relocate down here, their social life in the United States was dwindling. It was because they're not married, because they don't have any kids, they're middle-aged, and at that point, there's not much for them to do socially. There's not many places where they can go to, where they can meet new people, where they can make new friends. It's not even just a romantic level, but to just make new friends, to do hobbies, to experience new things, etc. It seems like you reach a certain age in the United States where society says, okay, now you're too old for this. It's like, yeah, you should be doing grown-up stuff, I guess, like having a family and raising kids, etc. Whereas in Colombia, you can be middle-aged and still do a lot of the fun things that you would want to do and make new friends that are typically younger than you. If you're an active person and you like to do activities, there are groups for everything here, and making friends is very easy here because part of the culture here is to be social. Everyone is usually pretty nice to you. Whether you're a foreigner or you're a local, people are nice to each other, and it's easy to make friends. It's easy to grow that social circle. It's easy to meet new people. It's easy to, let's say, get together, because even though the city and the metropolitan area has over 4 million people in it, it's still a pretty small city. To get from point A to point B, across the city, you're going to be spending tops, $12 on an Uber maybe. I think even at the most, let's say $20 on an Uber, just being super conservative there. So it's pretty easy to get around, and that's if you're going to take an Uber. If you just want to take the metro, you can get pretty much anywhere in the city taking a metro and a bus if you wanted to, or taking the metro and then a short taxi ride anywhere, or a short Uber ride. Usually the metro is pretty fast, especially during peak hours where traffic can hold you back. The metro is pretty consistent, so it could be a better option. So getting people together is a lot easier in Medellin than it is in the United States. In the United States, getting together with people, it's kind of like a production. You have to coordinate schedules. You have to pick the place that you want to go to. You have to set the budget as to how much money you're going to spend, because a night out with friends getting together at a bar or at a restaurant could cost you $60 to $100, depending on if you're going by yourself or with a date. So those kind of things make it even harder. It's a bigger barrier for people to get together in the United States. On top of that, you have to drive to the place, meaning that you're going to have to go through traffic. You have to make time for the traffic. So it's not like you're getting in a metro full of other people, where you might even meet someone in the metro and make friends with someone, or on the bus, or even the Uber driver that's driving you might be asking you questions. Especially if you're a foreigner, you might make a new friend doing that. So it seems like in Medellin, everything that you do is an opportunity for you to increase your social circle, whereas in the United States, it's an opportunity for you to be isolated, because part of the culture there nowadays, if it was that bad back when I lived there in 2010 and before, where people valued their personal space and you lived next to someone for 10, 20 years and didn't even know their name. If that was normal, I can only imagine it being even worse now, where cost of living is higher, people are more separated and divided, so social life it probably strains on social life even more. So a lot of the people that are coming down here that I've helped relocate, they've said that Medellin is amazing. The first week that they're here, they're like, man, I've made more friends in this week than I would have made in a whole year in the United States. Just because I think one of the reasons, and it's a big valid reason, is the fact that, yeah, if you're a foreigner, people are going to want to talk to you more as well, too. But me being a fluent Spanish speaker, I meet people every day, man. I love it. Yabba Dabba Doo, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate it. Craven got the membership. Let's go. Alejandro Her says, I was very impressed with over-the-counter meds on Rappi. In the USA, is a business for companies and very inaccessible for the regular Joe. You need a doctor to be able to access your meds. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying, that a lot of the meds here are just over the counter. You can just order them on your phone and they get here. And in the United States, you guys seems, I know because I work in this industry, my digital marketing company does digital marketing only to mental health and drug and alcohol rehab centers in the United States. So I know the problem you guys have with meds. But in Colombia, we don't have really an addiction problem. We don't have a fentanyl epidemic, that's for sure. There is a drug problem and an addiction problem, just like anywhere else in the world. But it's not, the over-the-counter stuff is not a problem. And on top of that, no Colombian pharmaceutical is getting rich on these drugs. That's another thing. When I watch the United States channels, like for football or basketball, bro, every other commercial is either fast food to make you fat, and then the next commercial is a pill to alleviate you from the shit that the fast food gave you, like diabetes, it's like heart disease, all this shit that you could be avoided by not eating that junk. Instead, you just medicate it so that you can keep eating that junk. It's really weird culture down there. Here, we don't really have that problem. To see a prescription medication commercial on Colombian, I challenge you, watch Caracol or RCN, which are the two major networks here, and see how many prescription medication commercials you'll see. I bet you won't even see one in 2 hours of watching TV. It's just not normal here. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Ransom says, buenas tardes, mis amigos. Buenas tardes, Ransom. How's it going? McKissick. Sounds Irish. McKissick. Yeah, so that's a main reason, the social life and how much people change when they come down here, meaning that their social circle changes. They meet people that are younger than them, people that are active, people that are hungry for life, that are hungry for an opportunity. Yes, there are negatives to that, meaning that some people might be looking to take advantage of you, but that's why you watch channels like mine. That's why you watch channels like AK Joel's. That's why you watch channels like DC Born Rob etc., so that you are gaining that knowledge to be aware of the people that are going to take advantage of you. If you don't know what that would look like, then I highly recommend that you join something like the Medellin Masterclass, where we can teach you what that looks like. Or even just join the free Medellin Dream Academy. If you're not ready to pay for a masterclass, the Medellin Dream Academy is free, where we talk and we share information, and you have access to me for free. It's not like I'm charging anything for anyone there. I'm building a community. Eventually I will charge, but there will always be a free version where we meet for free, and then there will be a paid version because my time costs money. Just like everybody else, time is money, so I will have a paid version, but I just don't have that built out yet. I want it to be amazing for those that are going to pay like a monthly membership or whatever, but that's in the future. Right now, it's all free. Hey, Craven says thank you to Yabba Dabba Doo. Let's go. Yabba Dabba Doo. Only 2 countries in the world allowed to advertise prescription drugs on TV. Guess who's one of them? I'm guessing it's the United States. And who's the second? Is that like the UK somewhere? Okay, so yeah. So to recap, so far we've said three different reasons why I believe people are flocking to live in Medellin, either part-time or full-time. And that involves culture, that involves social circle, and finally, the last reason why people come down here is, and it's a very obvious one, but I want to talk about it, cost of living. And we all know that the cost of living in Colombia is low. It's lower than most places in the United States. There might be some places in the boonies where you can live on $2,000 a month and live pretty well. But the fact of the matter is that in this metropolitan city of Medellin, where tourism is at an all-time high, where you can find 5-star restaurants, 5-star hotels, and you could also find 1-star restaurants and 1-star hotels.